Welcome in. Welcome into this special edition. What did we call this stream? Eternal Love and Lust and the Dark Night or something. I don't remember. Hi, my beautiful people. I'm sorry I was late. I thought I was actually on time. Apparently my microwave clock is behind 5 minutes. So welcome in. Hi, Inked One. How you doing, sweetheart? What's going on with y'all this time of night? I guess depends on where y'all are at in the world. It's 1 a.m. in the morning for me, so Friday morning. I thought I'd come on, hang out with y'all for a bit. Spirit seemed to be calling me out here. And since I got some new decks, and one of them's a erotic deck, we'll call it. I thought for my mature people who dared to find out what kind of relationship they have, if the person they're seeing or interested in, involved with, is interested in them for genuine, true reasons because they got feelings, or is it something because of lust? Meaning, you know, only wanting that physical side of it, nothing more. So, there are some cards in here that are pretty graphic, and I won't be able to show them to you. The pictures at least, and I'm just gonna have to keep the description of some of them down as PG as I can keep it. But hopefully, if y'all are open to want to explore that part of your romantic relationship, I do have this deck here. I got a few more coming, but they haven't arrived yet. So, and then I got my romance decks too, and my regular tarot. So, whatever it is y'all want me to pull cards on, I'll do $5 card pulls for y'all. If you want a more in-depth reading, I'll be more than happy to do one here too. Y'all know, if y'all been watching me enough, a mini reading would be $20 US, and then a more in-depth would be $40 US, which that's when I can get a little carried away with the cards. So, as some would say, I over-deliver, but, you know. Your ex reared her head, changed her profile picture, but still hasn't reached out. Well, Inked One, are you waiting for her to reach out? I wouldn't wait for her to reach out. I would have already done moved on, baby. Found someone new. You know, I think sometimes people can take us for granted, especially if they think we're sitting around waiting for them. Or, you know, they get carried away in their ego. So, because they know that maybe you're for them and you're like, you know, have deep feelings for them, they feel like you'll stick around and wait on them while they're out there, you know, playing the field, keeping their options open kind of deal. And those are the type of people and relationships you want to avoid. No, I'm sorry it's been a rough one for you. I've had those many times myself, so I get it. Yeah, Inked One. I let her go. You know, I don't... With me, you know, maybe it's because of my age too, but I don't have time for the nonsense. You know, you're either for me and you want me and only me, or you're not. You know, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. So if you want to keep your your options open, don't even approach me if you're not serious, because I'm not trying to date someone and, you know, date other people at the same time. You know, I'm a deep person. When I want to romantically connect with someone, it's because, you know, there's something there and that I want to explore, but the other person's going to want to have to explore it in the same way I do. If they want to play around, you know, that's fine, you know. They can do that. They're just not going to do it with me. So you get one shot and that's it. One shot and you're done. Hi, Fred. Oh, thanks, Babs. Appreciate it. Yeah, inked one. I understand that. But you know, I think we all end up in a relationship where we, you know, fall in love with someone or have that deep emotional bond to them. And we act like in that moment because, you know, those feelings are so deep that they're the only one for us. And if it doesn't work out, then our life's over. Like there's no one else out there. And it just means you got to give yourself that space and that time to heal. So that way you can have a new person come in that is more worthy of you, who would want to give their all to you and not just play games and play around. So, but I know what you mean about the heart wants what it wants. And sometimes, your heart can want all of them, but their heart might be closed off to it. They could also be that type person that may not know necessarily what they want yet. And um, I I believe you told me that y'all were serious before, so I don't know what happened that made her want to explore other options out there, but I wouldn't wait around for her, baby. You just got to give yourself that time and space to get over her. And I know it won't be easy. I've been down that road. Um, when I've been in love with someone, I mean, it would take me a couple of years to get over them before I was ready to seriously get involved with someone new. Because again, like I said, I don't just date to date, and I'm not that type of person that's in or gets involved with people just for the fun of it or just for the sexual gratification. I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person that, the only way you could even get that type of intimacy with me is it has to be serious and it's exclusive. It's a monogamous relationship that both of us have those deep feelings. Otherwise, it won't happen. If the emotional component's not there, you won't ever get the physical side of me in that way. So, but a lot of people, it seems like today don't do that. Or some people don't want to give no more than the bare minimum. And the bare minimum will never be enough for me. You're going to have to give a lot more than that. So I get it's hard. You know what I would do? Seeing one, that would tell me that she's trying to keep you interested. She's trying to keep you like almost in her back pocket. Because why would she unblock you suddenly and to where you could see a profile picture of her all dolled up? Like, come on. She's just playing a childish game, so I would block her to where there's no opening. But that's on you, baby. I just know that if you hang around and you show that you still have interest in her and you're waiting for her to like make her mind up, she's still going to keep doing what she's doing. And then when you suddenly, if you reach that point where you're not interested in giving her, a chance anymore, that's really going to like strike her ego. It's going to burst her bubble because all this time she was thinking, because you're crazy about her, that you'll wait for her. And, and you'll, wait however long it takes for her to get whatever this is out of her system until they come back and find out, nope, that you're not an option anymore. So, you need to stay off her socials. How are you supposed to get over someone? And that's the reason why she keeps doing it. Don't you not understand that? She's going to keep acting the way she's acting because she feels like, again, she can keep you. It's almost like putting like a piece of, a big piece of fish, like a still, up, just dangling for a great white shark. That's what she's doing to you. She's letting she's out there and she's going to dangle herself like the seal, hoping that you'll, hang around and not forget about her, not put her to the side, and not go looking elsewhere for a new relationship either. So, well, you know what, Inked One? That's the other problem. You got someone who's friends with her talking to you. So again, why are you gonna create that opening, baby? Because her friend is just going to turn around and run back to her and tell her exactly everything you told her. Don't do that to yourself. You'll never break yourself free of that, and that's toxic. So I wouldn't involve myself with that. Just wouldn't. And then, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I'll never understand why people will ever get themselves in those types of relationships where there's a possibility of more than one person being involved, and then the whole component to it, like, are they being sexually intimate with both people? And then you don't know where they've been. It's like, there's so many diseases out there. Why you would put yourself in that type of risk? It's not worth it. You gotta raise the bar for yourself. Raise your standards. You can do better. I understand you may feel like you're in love with her right now and she's the only one for you, but give it time, baby. And when that person shows up in your life that you're meant to be with, you'll understand why it never worked out with anyone else before that person. Because you were meant to be with someone else. And I just don't feel like you're meant to be with that girl. That's just my personal opinion. Only Spirit can confirm that to me, but, you know. Oh, she's a Leo. And you're an Aquarius. Well, fire and air. There it is. I'm not as big into the zodiacs like how most people might get into it, because to me, some of it's right, but some of it's not. And it just depends on the angle you approach it by. Because there's more to your birth chart than just, your sun sign. Well, baby, you need to stop drinking yourself just to cover up your emotional pain. You gotta allow yourself to process it. You keep running from it instead of actually going through it. Because the quicker you come to terms with it and allow your mind, heart, spirit to feel it, even if it hurts, the quicker you'll get over it and be able to move on. Otherwise, you're just going to keep yourself in that vicious cycle. No, why do that? It's not worth it, baby. It's like I know someone who thought because we were, you know, in a committed relationship, they thought they can take me for granted and treat me any kind of way they wanted to in the moment, whatever, you know, was convenient for them and whatnot. And they came to find out later, after the damage been done, that you can't treat me that way. Because once you do, you will never get a chance back with me. And ever since then, in a roundabout way, I'm not saying they're trying their hardest to win me back, but we'll just say that they've made it known that they still want me back, but it's not going to happen. My heart's already closed them off, and it's like, you know, once, you know, I cried those tears for those few days, crying myself to sleep, you already destroyed it. You can't put those pieces back together. You want to see it through with no regrets. See what through, though? I mean, seeing it through what? To see if she'll come back to you? Or to um, see what exactly? Well, you're only keeping yourself trapped, which is interesting. Because I did pull a card like that yesterday. No, actually, today I did. I did it for the general collective reading, but that's for my Patreon members. I posted it earlier. So, I don't know what to tell you, Inked One, but I'm sorry, baby. Can't get carried away in that. It's not going to serve you any good. So anyhow, my beautiful people, again, like I said, you know, I'll do $5 card pulls. If you have a question, I'll, you know, pull cards for it. If you want more in depth, you know, it costs more. But like I said, I have, you know, whatever you need answered. I know I got decks for it. Both tarot and oracle decks. So how are y'all beautiful people doing tonight? See, Inked One, you know what it sounds like to me? She's giving you a taste of your own medicine. Because she wanted you. And you didn't want her. You weren't ready to give her that commitment. So now the tables have turned. And that's really crappy. Because in a sense, it almost seems like she's playing that game. Like, showing you now that you're ready for me, I don't want you now. I wanted you before. You know, when you didn't want me and weren't ready to give to me. And so that's what it sounds like to me. She's giving you a taste of your own medicine. And even in that context, that's still not healthy, baby. But anyhow, I can't get it all deep into that Inked One. I can't drain my energy like that, baby. So, I just wish you nothing but the best. Yeah, I get that. Again, I wouldn't be waiting around. I mean, I'm not going to say it serves you right. I won't say that. But in the same breath, I can't be mad at her if that's how she feels, because again, she wanted you. She wanted you and only you. But at the time, you didn't want her like that. So the opportunity was there and you didn't take it. You took her for granted. And now she walked. And if she's anything like me, you won't get her back. You know, once that door's closed, it's closed permanently. And it doesn't mean that you can't still have feelings for that person. But it's almost like in the same context, like I say to people when it comes to, even when we talk about family, you know, you can still love your family, even though they're toxic, but you gotta love them from a distance. You just come to understand you can't have them all up close and personal in your life anymore because they're no good for you. So that's how I'd leave it. But I wish you nothing but the best, baby. So, it's always, you know, something else. Did you get your stuff done, Eternal? And you know, YouTube is cracking me up, y'all, because I posted a short and a general collective reading. I uploaded it earlier yesterday. Still ain't posted. It just cracks me up how it takes several hours. It just makes no sense to me. But so oh yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you got your stuff done, baby. I still have to do a couple more readings when the stream's over with. Before I'll be able to go crawl in bed and get some sleep. Y'all got any plans this weekend? Don't go out looking for love. Let love find you. That's true too. Hi Tiffany. If you're asking for a personal reading, sweetheart, it's $5 US. So you can send it through my Zelle, Venmo, or PayPal. There's a pinned comment in the chat. Cottage as always. Antoine, I don't know what that means, baby. You mean you're gonna be staying home? Yeah, I'll probably end up having to head out somewhere Saturday. Maybe. Haven't decided yet. Oh, well, that'll be cool. I need to get out. Well, I don't want to go out drinking because I don't really drink. Like, I haven't had any alcohol this year at all. I haven't had one drop of alcohol. The last time I had alcohol was, I think, May of last year. Plus, with me getting back into, or getting ready to go back to shooting pool competitively, that's the last thing I want to do, is having any drinks while I'm playing for money. So, but that sounds like fun, Inked One. Hi, just a dude. How you doing, honey? Yeah. Oh, I love wildlife. I used to have, well, no, I didn't have a raccoon. I only saw one raccoon when I lived up in the mountains for a year. I had a pet possum that lived underneath my porch at the house I was staying in. And it was always, I mean, she was very smart. And I knew it was a female because I saw one of her babies. Um, I would feed her every day. So I would break up like some bread, some apples, grapes, things like that. And if I had any like leftovers, food that, might go bad, if I kept it another day, it's like, no, I'll just give it to the possum. So I'd put it on a plate and then I would tap on the patio floor. And every single time I would tap on it, she would come out and she knew it was dinner time. So I enjoyed that, feeding her and watching her. I also had a bunch of deer out there. Um, I had some gorgeous bucks, and there was a lot of doe. There was more does than there were bucks, but the few bucks I saw, they were beautiful. Had big, huge um, racks on their head, and one of the does had twins, so I got to see the twins. It was always pretty neat. So I enjoyed doing all that. Out here where I live, though, there's too much traffic. I actually thought, I mean, I am out in the country in the sticks, but I live right by a main road, so I always hear traffic going by. But I do see deer roaming through across the street. In fact, the one doe that I saw two fawns with her. So I'm assuming those were twins, which I think is pretty cool to see that here too. So I'm waiting for the leaves to start changing and falling because I'll be able to see them a little better. But I also get a lot of hawks around here. Like I had a hawk fly above me earlier and came down pretty close right above me. um, I've seen a wild hare a couple of times. I haven't seen one in a while, but since I've been here, living in my new house, I've seen a couple of wild hares running around. But I can't say I haven't seen any raccoons or any possums or any other ones except for the deer and the wild hares. At the old house up in the mountains, I would also get bears. I had some I had a mama bear come through and she had her cub. So I would see the cub roaming around in the on the property and also her mama. So I got some pictures of that too. And I also had some wild turkeys. I don't think any of them were male though. I think it was only the females. Yeah, it's always cool to see the wildlife. I do enjoy it. I wanted to set up a deer feeder in my yard. Um, that might be something I do in the later on when I have some extra money. I can buy one and then fill it up with the corn and then set it up on a timer, and that'll bring more of the deer in. Especially knowing that I know there are some deer around, because that's what I did up at the house up in the mountains. And then there was also a lot of the birds like the cardinals, the blue jays, that kind of thing. But yeah, I agree, it's peaceful. It's kind of hard to experience that when you're closer to the city with all the noise. Because naturally the wildlife wants to hide, and I get that. So, well, somebody has a secret admirer. Hi, JK. That's cool. Yeah, the skunks are good for that, just like the possums and the raccoons and the bears and all that. And the cats. Like, I see a bunch of feral cats running around now outside, which I'm sure that's probably where that mama cat, the stray I took in, I came from. Some of those stray cats out there that I've seen running around. That way you don't have to worry about pest control. I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen any squirrel. Now that I come to think of it, I haven't seen any squirrel here. I used to see them at the old house, but I haven't seen any since I've been here. But it's like the hawks that I often see. Like every single time I walk outside during the daytime, I'll see hawks flying around. And I also had a white owl. This was last year. You know, it was around this time last year, in fact. I had walked outside in my backyard one night, and right above me, it flew right above me, and I saw it, and it was beautiful. But I haven't seen it since. So I know, like, the hawks and, you know, owls, whatever other wild birds, they're over there picking up all the mice and all that too. Yeah, this is true. I agree. So I don't mind feeding them, and I don't mind them being around. I'm just waiting for one of these days. I'm going to end up seeing one of these hawks pick up one of these cats. That's the only thing that worries me, because I got one of my cats that's the, he's one of the kittens from the mama cat. I'm afraid one of these days I'm going to see this hawk pick up this cat, because he's pretty thin. Even though I feed him, he's thin. And I mean, I did have him inside the house until he got out one night, and I didn't know he had been let out accidentally, and so he was missing for almost a month. I was worried like someone had picked him up, but he eventually came running back home, so he stays outside now mostly. I open up the garage and I put his food bowl out there. That way he can, you know, go outside into the wild if he wants to, but if he wants to come in, you know, doors for shelter, like when it's raining and all that, he can go into the garage. So he's become more of the outdoor cat, to where my other cat, Toby, is strictly an indoor cat now. I'm waiting for that day that he's going to want to roam back outside, because Toby was one of my stray cats. He was actually the first one I got when I was living up in the mountains. And he definitely was a wild cat, but he's calmed down now. And now he's just gotten fat. Every single time I see him laying on the floor and he just kind of rolls a little bit, he looks like just roly-poly rolling around. But he's my big fat cat. And then I got the other kittens in the other room that I still got to take up to either the animal shelter or something, because I can't keep them. As much as I love to, I can't. So I'm probably only going to keep one of the cats from those kittens. So the most I'll end up having after it's all said and done is probably 4. But I agree. Expectations. So what else is going on, y'all? That's just weird. Can't make that out. Quarter to 2. I probably won't be out here long, y'all. Maybe an hour and then I'll shut it down. Yeah, some of these cards I definitely can't show. Well, this isn't a bad card. This be one I could show. At least she's not nude. Hey, Eternal, this is pretty funny. This one card I'm looking at is in the air. Kind of funny because that's part of the title that you helped come up to name this stream. See, manifesting, what it says at the bottom. Hold on. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to read that though, because I know sometimes this stream it looks backwards. But at the bottom it says love is in the air. So y'all trying to manifest a new lover. And the next card right below it is conception. So some of y'all might want to be extra careful. You ain't getting pregnant or getting someone else pregnant. Unless that's something you generally want. Crazy. You're out of here. What are you talking about, JK? This is my erotic deck, but it's very laid back compared to the other ones that haven't arrived yet. Those I would definitely not be able to show anything because they're very graphic. Like this one ain't bad. I mean, looks just like the death card. Slow death, ignoring the red flags. Sex is not the same. There's a sense of disconnection and isolation. There's that one. So this has more of like the mental and the emotional component to it, which is more like what I am. Makeup. Metamorphoses. Y'all were trying for a third before she left. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Inked One. That's kind of crazy, you know. I don't know how someone can do that, to try and have a baby when you're not even serious or committed to someone. But that's just me. But then again, I don't have any kids. I made that decision a long time ago. I wasn't going to have any kids of my own. And I stuck to my guns. Well, Inked One, I'm a little confused. Did you not just say earlier that she was serious about you, but you weren't serious about her? But now you're telling me y'all were engaged at one point and then y'all were trying to have a child, so which one is it? Excuse me. Well, I mean, if she was dragging her feet, though, I could understand that too, because you weren't serious about her at one point. She probably didn't feel like you were that serious about her. That's why I always tell y'all, it's hard to have a relationship or to date someone. The advice I always give is to date with intention, meaning date someone that's on the same page as you, that's looking for exactly the same thing. So if someone's wanting a serious committed relationship and you're not ready, don't pursue them. And then tell them, like, listen, I'm not ready and I just don't think it's right that we go any further right now. If maybe down the road, if you're still single and I'm ready at that point to want to be serious, then maybe we can go down that road then. Otherwise, don't even go there because someone always gets hurt and then it creates these type of scenarios. So I would highly advise that you only get involved with the people who are looking for the same thing you are. That way people, the chances of getting hurt are less likely. Not saying you won't get hurt, because people can still have a change of heart, get confused, or something extreme out there could happen to change everything, but at least, the intention. Oh, so you were insecure with her exes being around. I mean, why were her exes around, though? Like, was there kids in the picture? Is that why her exes were around? Because these are the fathers of the children, or the exes were just there, period? She told you they cuddle. Oh, well. Yeah, that would be an issue with me. I would not have pursued anything with her. Yeah. Well, I mean, from that standpoint, I can understand you not wanting to be serious with her, but still, at the same time, I would have made it clear. It's like, no, as long as your exes are around and you think it's okay for y'all to sit here and cuddle, like y'all are, together when y'all aren't supposed to be, in a romantic relationship. It's one thing if she wants to hug her friends. I don't think there's anything wrong with hugging people, because I hug all my friends. It doesn't matter, guy or girl. I always hug my people I care about. But when they want to sit here and like sit on the couch and cuddle like they're a couple, no, that's completely different. And I would understand why you wouldn't want to pursue anything with her. But then again, I would not have gotten engaged to her either at the same time. So you kind of like put yourself in that kind of situation. So I don't know what to tell you, Inked One, other than I would put up that boundary and I would not be chasing her and I would not be waiting for her either. That's how I feel. Well, I mean, when they were popping up again and again, what do you mean they were popping up? Like what, they were still calling her, or they were showing up at the house, or they were showing up at her job? Like, what do you mean by popping up? Because that can mean anything. Because you got to understand, you can't control what other people do. So, like her, she can tell them to back off. But if it's in a public area like her job, she can't tell them they can't be there. Depending on what kind of, job it is. Okay, but I mean, Inked One, the only thing I would have told her is those people, like, if they, weren't going to leave her alone, she could have blocked them and y'all could have even changed the number. That's what I would have done. That would have ended that. And then if they were still calling, then she was reaching out to them and it's not them coming towards her. So it's completely different. There's many different ways I would have handled that. And it's not about being controlling, but I mean to help your insecurity in that context. And understand me, I'm not judging you. I'm a trusting person. Like I said, I'm the type of woman, I don't get jealous. I'm not insecure. When I'm with someone, I trust that person and I trust them 1,000%. And even if they have female friends, I'm not threatened by them. As long, as, there's an understanding between us that they know where those lines are. Like I said, I have no problem if my man wants to go hang out with his female friends. It doesn't bother me. I don't get paranoid. I'm not threatened. I don't fear like, you know, they're gonna cheat on me. Not saying that it can't happen or won't happen, but I have that trust until they do something to make me not trust them. So, but I'm different. But understand it's because I grew up in an environment too where my parents, were very involved in sports and especially like bowling. And that's a sport that both men and women are involved in. And so I was going to have guy friends around me no matter what because of these sports I compete in. And billiards, pool is the same way. Even though it seems to be predominantly, from my experience, more guys in it, but there are ladies who shoot pool too. And I had several female friends who shot pool. So I wasn't going to change my life in the context of I wasn't going to stop doing something that brought a lot of happiness and fulfillment to my life and something I was good at. Not only was I good at, but it also helped to put food on the table because I would play in money tournaments. So I always had the understanding it was going to take a very strong man who is confident and secure in himself to be able to, go out with me. Um, because of those things. And also understand that, they might think, it's crazy to hear a woman say, well, I don't get jealous, I don't get insecure, I'm not going to get paranoid or anything like that, but I'm just not that way. Well, again, inked one, like I said, if they were popping up on her call list, she can't control who calls her unless she blocks them and then y'all change her number. That's what I would have done first before you just saying, no, I don't, I think you're, something else is going on. It's wrong to assume, is what I'm saying, baby. There should have been a level of trust in that still. Now, the cuddling with the exes, that's completely different. No, I would have had a problem, but okay, well, then you know that the issue was with her. And like I said, I would have cut her off. There wouldn't have been anything else for us to discuss because, I've been in relationships where it was that serious. In fact, one of them I was engaged to, or almost engaged, I should say, correction. Um, he never officially asked me. However, the intention was there because we went ring shopping together and we did pick out a ring and he put it on layaway. So the intention was we were going to eventually be engaged and get married. And he decided to go out one night. I don't know if he was with anyone when he went to the bar, but he went out one night and ended up going home with someone. You know, the next time I saw him, when I went over to his house, he was honest with me, told me about it. Okay. I had respect for him enough to, the fact that he could be upfront with me. But did that mean I was going to stay with him? No. Understand me, the moment he told me that something happened, I was gone. And I did. I got up from that table and I told him it was over. There was nothing else to talk about. And I left, and I never looked back. I didn't call him. He didn't call me. I never saw him again. Exactly, JK. Yeah, inked one. I would not have been okay with that either. Because there's a level of mistrust there. If you feel the need to go through my phone to see who I'm talking to, you don't trust me then. You have no business being on my phone. But I'm not gonna sit here and go through your phone either. So I don't get that. I don't get people who do that, but that's me too. In the same context. Like I said, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna believe you. Up until, there's something that I physically see. Because, people, depending on who you talk to, people, can could classify cheating as you just flirting with someone or, looking at someone or even scrolling through what their new pictures are not. Some people classify that as cheating. I don't. Cheating is when you do a physical act that you should only be doing with your romantic partner. That's when it's cheating for me. So that right there, inked one, no, baby. I would not have dealt with that. And here's the other thing, inked one. I've always told people, as I've never understood why people are going to get mad, and, like how I'm saying with you about, you know, you can't control what, her exes do, right? Which is true. And you really can't control what she does either. However, I remember years ago, a couple of guys, that I, dated, and one that I eventually did marry, would say to me, "It's not you I don't trust, it's them." Excuse me? What do you mean? It's them you don't trust. Like, you make it sound like as if they're gonna approach me and hit on me, and like I have no say, what happens. I mean, did you not forget that I still say yes or no to them? So it still comes back to me. That you still gotta trust. You gotta trust. I'm gonna say no. But obviously you don't have enough faith and trust in me that that's gonna happen. And that's the problem. And if that's the problem, then we have nothing to talk about because there's no trust in this relationship and it will not survive. And I always made that clear. And both of the guys that, I had said that to never expected to hear something like that. It's like, yes, I've thought about this enough because I've gone through this enough with other guys who got jealous and insecure about the guys being around me just because I bowl and shoot pool. And it's like, and it always, it never made any sense to me either because it's like, okay, well, when I go to work, there's going to be guys there I'm going to work with, and there's going to be guys that are going to come into my job that I'm going to have to talk to. So what's the difference between work and shooting pool and bowling? I mean, I understand that, your job, you have to keep a level of professionalism. And yes, there is that, but doesn't mean if someone becomes a regular customer of yours that that friendship may not, develop. And so I've always, looked at people crazy that way, but that's me having that mentality. So again, though, it comes back down to you trusting her. The guys can do whatever they want, but she still has to allow it or reject them. So what it comes down to is you still didn't trust her. And I'm not saying you don't have your reasons for it, but I'm just saying I'm calling it what it is, a spade a spade. So knowing that, why would you want to pursue this? Because it sounds like to me, even if she were to come back, you still wouldn't be able to trust her. Because you would still be worried about these guys, whether they're friends of hers or her exes, ringing up her phone. No matter, what time of day or night it is, if you have an issue with her having guy friends, and so on. That's always going to be an issue. You can't be, to me, you can't fully relax, come together, be completely 1000% honest and vulnerable with each other. So, how does that work? Because then to me, there's always going to be this little wedge. And at any given point in time, that wedge can become a little crack and it becomes, and it just rips the whole relationship apart. And that doesn't make sense to me. So, oh, I'm glad you was too, Jake. I had enough respect, even though I didn't agree with what he did, but at least he could be upfront with me to where someone else wasn't. And I've always said this too, which I 1000% believe. Even if you've been in those relationships in the past where people have cheated on you, betrayed you in that way, it is wrong to go and start a new relationship with someone and treat them like the ex of your past who betrayed you. They're not the same person. So you really need to wipe the slate 1000% clean. So there's a clean slate for you to build something on. Well, hi Sebastian, how you doing, baby? It's good to see you, honey. Thank you. So you can't go through and start giving to someone when they don't go through, you can't trust them. and you're going to treat them like your ex. And that's just wrong. That's not fair to that person. You know, to me, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. But it's the past behavior of that person, not what your ex did. You know, your current person should not pay for the sins of your exes, whether that's one ex or multiple who may have betrayed you. So, and if you can't do that, then you're not ready, in my opinion. You would still need some time to heal before you should, start a new relationship with anyone. Um, that's another thing that I've always said to people. I mean, it doesn't make sense because to me, you're just bringing poison into your new relationship, and it's already, it's going to be screwed from the start. It can't even get off on the right foot because of that being there in the background. So to me, Inked One, it's like I said, no matter whether her exes were coming around, whether she was doing it or they were doing it freely on their own, you still had to trust her. Trust that she wasn't going to allow them to come between y'all, and that she wasn't going to do anything with them that's, in the context of being romantic, like what, she should only be doing with you as her man. And it's really unfortunate to hear that. Well, Sebastian, it's so good to see you, baby. And how you been? I got this exotic deck, or not exotic, erotic deck. Oracle deck. How's everything with you and your beautiful woman? Is everything going good with y'all? But I do agree with you, JK, too. And Sebastian, thank you, baby. I just think it makes the most sense because when people go about it in the context of entering into a new relationship and there's already this fear, like, oh, because, you have the wounds of your exes from your past that you haven't allowed yourself to heal from. You already walk in with this huge shield around you, and that person can't break through it because you're afraid to allow them get that close to you because you're, thinking of them in the context of them being your ex. That's going to hurt you that way. And it's hard to build something with that. It won't stand. Um, and I'm not saying it's an excuse, I don't feel like it's a justifiable excuse to go through if someone, man or woman, to go through and, I think of someone who's been cheated on. I didn't do this, but I know a lot of other people who have, where they end up getting betrayed by someone they loved and they start a new relationship. And because they haven't allowed themselves to heal from the pains of their past, from their exes, they start acting paranoid. Like they literally will treat this person like it's the ex. So they'll start snooping through their phone, looking at who they've been talking to, their emails. Um, they'll like interrogate them in my, view, like, oh, whoa, who'd you talk to today? Where you been? What took you so long to get home? You got off work at this time and you're walking in the door and it's this time. Like, where you been this last few hours? Like, it's like an interrogation. That's not healthy because that just shows that that person, they have this fear. You're going to do exactly the same thing to them that their ex did. And that's when I would tell you, take a step back. Don't, I'm not saying don't pursue something with them, but I really feel like, from my personal experience and perspective, is give them a chance to allow themselves to heal before they try and treat you like the bad person, like you're the enemy. Because when you're in a relationship, on the same team. You're not supposed to be on opposing sides, especially when we talk about something serious when it comes to living together, but it goes beyond that really, when it comes to when you get engaged and get married. You're on the same team. You're not supposed to be on opposing sides. So how is that supposed to work? It makes it hard. It can't work. There's always going to be those lingering doubts, that lingering fear. And it's something you won't be able to run away from, because even if you reach a point in your relationship where you feel like you trust that person, and you think you finally have gotten over, the wounds of your ex, there is going to be something, it'll catch you off guard, that's going to trigger that wound. And then you're going to come find out that, no, you weren't completely healed from it like you thought. And I'm not, saying you've done anything wrong. You genuinely thought that you had gotten over it because you thought you were taking the right steps, letting that pain go and start fresh with someone new, but not realizing that there could be something. You just don't know what that something is that's going to come and now rip that bandage off of that wound that you haven't allowed to heal completely yet. Because then some people will also get involved in relationships where, I heard someone say this just last week, I want to say, where they say, well, in order to get over an ex, you got to get under someone new. I don't agree with that, because then that, to me, that means you can't get over your ex by yourself, which means, in my view, you haven't really learned to love yourself fully, to treat yourself with the highest amount of love and respect. Because, you can't expect others to treat you and love you the way you want them to, in the right way, if you're not giving that same love to yourself first. And so, if we allow people to do certain things or get away with certain things, we're teaching them how to treat us, because we're not putting up those boundaries and saying, no, I won't accept this, whether others agree with it or not. Um, it's what you feel comfortable with. Exactly, JK. And you haven't grown. And that's where people are not fully mentally and emotionally mature yet. They're not ready to be in that, monogamous, serious relationship. If they feel like in order to get over an ex, you got to get with someone new, because that person just becomes a rebound then. And that's not right. That's not fair to that person either. If that person genuinely likes you and could give you, something solid, why not wait for yourself to get over your ex so you can give this new person all of you, not just parts of you, not just pieces of you? That's not right. That's not fair. You want this person to pour their cup all into you, but you're unable to pour your full cup into them. Where's the balance in that? It's off balance. So, but that's just my thoughts on it, my perspective. It makes it very difficult. And I know, you know, I'm not saying to y'all beautiful people, I'm not saying don't date. But honestly, do not go into it with this mindset of you're looking for a new committed relationship right off the gate. I'm not saying don't have fun, but make your intentions known to those people, whether it's one person or more than one. Say, listen, I just want to have some fun right now. I'm not looking to get seriously involved with anyone right now. I just got out of a relationship that I'm still healing from. But if you want to, hang out as friends, and okay, but I would try and keep my heart shielded up as much as possible too. So, you try and walk into it with the being upfront and with the right intentions, and with the intention of, you're not looking to get this person to fall in love with you and pursue you. seriously, just as much as you're not trying to pursue them seriously. Doesn't mean that that can't happen. It's like you hear about those relationships, friends with benefits kind of relationships, where you always find out one of the two people end up getting emotionally attached to the other, and the other person has no emotions to it. They strictly are in it for the benefit of the physical, meeting the physical needs, and yeah, it's a friend you hang out with too, that kind of thing. I couldn't be fulfilled in that, but some people, maybe temporarily, um, so they don't feel lonely. Um, you know, I understand we all have our needs. I wouldn't judge anyone in that context either because we're all grown adults. We make our own decisions. I would just hope that everyone would walk into it with those intentions in mind and being upfront with that person. So you can't say you let anyone on and they too were upfront and honest with you to where they're not leading you on, either. So, you know, that way with the best intentions on both parts, hoping that that person has the same heart as you. You understand? You make, those boundaries clear out of the gate so nothing can be misconstrued, misunderstood. So if someone ends up developing feelings when, you're not ready and that's not what you're looking for, I would hope that that person could have that upfront conversation and say, listen, I wasn't trying to, you know, grow any feelings for you. We've had this discussion, but I'm starting to develop feelings and, I'm trying to take a step back from it now, unless you're developing feelings too, and maybe I'm not aware, those are those grown adult mature conversations to have, but I still find that many people struggle to have them because of the fear of rejection. And, I get that stings, but that's what us, responsible adults got to do. And not just be in it for ourselves, but also think of the other person too. Oh, Sebastian, well, baby, I'm sorry to hear that things aren't as good as they could be, baby. You're such a sweetheart. And I want nothing but the best for you, baby. And I respect that. There's things you don't want to talk about. I understand that, baby. I'm hoping whatever, you've been going through, that it works itself out, baby. And it comes out, to the best it can be in your favor. True indeed. And it's like, you get those people too that, and again, I'm not judging anyone. I'm just, giving some other context to this where people confuse the physical and the sexual component of a relationship. They confuse that for love. And it's not the same thing, You can have, a deep like for someone, but also lust for them too, okay? And there's nothing wrong with desiring someone in that way. You should have, you're looking, or having, romantic, feelings for them, whether it's just, liking and having a crush or something, deeper than that. But some people, because they weren't, brought up in the environment of being taught what a healthy, stable relationship is, they might have been brought up in an environment where the only thing they saw is, their parents, grandparents, possibly even aunts, uncles, maybe older siblings or cousins go through and get involved with people when it was nothing serious. It was just, a sexual component, and they confuse that with love and they don't understand. And my heart always hurts for them because it's like I wish they could understand it through my eyes, how I see things and why I see, and feel the way I do. Why, I guess my beliefs and my standards and expectations are pretty high because, I had my parents who stayed true to each other and loved each other through thick and thin. And they were crazy in love with each other. It wasn't just the sexual component. There was, you know, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual in it. It wasn't just the physical. And where I got to see a real, marriage happen. And just same thing with my grandparents. My grandparents were married for over 50 years. And they were like two peas in a pod, best of friends. Still were there for each other, had breakfast with each other, and dinner. They cooked together. They worked out in the yard together. It I got to see all that. So my experience with relationships and love is completely different than I know others. And so I try and tell some people, it's like, that doesn't sound like love to me. That sounds more like love, or there's a confusion here, or people conflate the two. Hi, Vicky. How you doing, honey? I know it has been a minute. How you been? Yeah, it does, Sebastian. It takes a long time to heal. Hey, Sean. And I would encourage more people to heal because that's an important thing to do, because you just don't want to go through and bring that poison into any kind of relationship, whether it's romantic or friends, even a professional relationship, but even in your family dynamics, you know, th- we still have love. It's just felt in a different way. And it's a beautiful thing if both people are upfront and honest with each other and, don't use, manipulation to get what they want or take advantage. Or again, when we were talking about, the romantic side of it, not to confuse that with the physical and the sexual component, confuse, lust with love because it's not the same thing. Yeah, JK, I was very lucky, very blessed to be able to see that, in my life. I've even told my brother that we were very lucky and blessed because I understand a lot of people didn't get to see that and grow up in that kind of environment. You reckon she's right? You make me laugh, Sebastian. Hi, Eric. How you doing, baby? Eric, I got a new deck. It's an erotic deck. And I said deck as in tarot deck, not the other. And Sebastian, I think that's great because that means they can be upfront and honest with you, because I've always been that way. I've actually had people say to me, that's one of the things they've always been able to appreciate, respect, admire about me is they always knew I would always tell them how I feel. I'd always let them know where they stood with me. And if there was ever any doubts or, confusion, all they had to do was ask me and I would tell them, I'm not afraid, to tell you or speak my heart or my mind. Because I wouldn't want anyone confused. Who want to see my big oracle deck? Oh, this one is actually a chilled down version compared to the other that are coming that I haven't received yet, but there's still some pretty spicy ones in here though. So me and Eternal came up with tonight's caption title for this stream. So $5 card pulls. Is it love or lust? So I got one of my, well, I got a couple of romance decks, but then I have this erotic deck. So let me find a clean one for you, Eric. There's some in here. Most of them aren't, though. And some of these, it's more of the mental and emotional component to it, but there is the physical in it too. Some of them could be a little graphic, so I can't show some of the pictures. Some of them I can. I mean, this one is really, PG, very clean. Eyes on you, secretly observing you, secret admirer, erotic admiration. Um, let's see. There is, I did pull out another one that I showed Eternal earlier. If I can find it. Okay, well, this is pretty clean except for the last word. But memories, sexual nostalgia, sweet memories of past sex. I can't even say that right. Secapades. I still didn't say it right. Fantasies of past lovers during self pleasuring, we'll say. um, yeah, some of these I can't show you. Here's one called, well, here, Daredevil. Risky sex behaviors, sensation seeking pursuits, the next thrill, sex deviations. Yeah, these are some, it's a spice text, baby, but I gotta tell you, this is pretty laid back and chill compared to the other two that are on the way. I haven't received those yet, but they're coming, and those are more of like the rated X type cards that I would not be able to show or share out here on the open stream like that. They're very detailed. Instead of 50 Shades of Gray, for me it'll be 50 Shades of Red. So I'm gonna have to figure out like a rated PG version of how to say some of these things. um, hello, Mathori. What is what black magic? I don't practice black magic. I don't practice magic at all. Or like this one, like this is the emotional and mental component. Jealousy, fears of being cheated on, jealousy affecting sex life, perceived rivals inspire jealousy. There's that. And then there's even one that says devoted. Um, yeah, she's pretty well covered, I think. Faithful lover, romantic in bed with lots of affection, traditional beliefs. So it has the mental and the emotional component to it, not just the physical. But then there's some in here that are little, like, I can't. It would make me blush to say what one of these cards says. Um, and the image just says it all by itself. And that's all I can say. Absolutely, Sebastian. So true, baby. Sebastian, you want me to pull a couple cards for you, baby? Like here, there's one, like, here's the real, the emotional side of it. Love story. Getting to know each other, exploring sexual boundaries, and dating. So there's that one. So these are pretty chilled compared to the others that are coming. But some of them are still a little out there that I can't even, show y'all the picture or even probably repeat what some of the words say without blushing or anything like that. They even got one in here called religious factors. One lover is more spiritual than the other. Sexual decisions based on spiritual beliefs. Sexual union lacks spiritual foundation. So there's that one. Oh, you know it, Eric. They will be. You're lucky you got away. Where'd you get away from, Sebastian? I've missed you being around here, baby. Oh, and Eternal? Yeah, that one card jumped out again. And you know which one I'm talking about, so. They even got one card in there that says Dominion. Kinky with lots of dominant positions. Choking, hair pulling, possibly pleasure, pain. Dom submissive. So there's even a BDSM card in here. Hi, beautiful spirit. Wow, that was right close up next to me. I had gold spirit orb over here. I think he's doing all right, baby. I think he has his good days and his bad days. I think he's been more focused on trying to get some things done around his house. And, spending time with friends and family. I actually need to try and reach out to him again. So I do, let's see. I had this deck that I pulled out last night that I liked pulling from. I'll find it. Unless you want me to pull a card for you from this erotic deck. You let me know, Sebastian. And you make me laugh, Eric. Where did it go? Did I put it in that bag? I probably did. Yeah, I probably did. Whoops, don't fall. I think it's one of these. Lots of laugh. You try. Is that right, baby? It's always good to see you. Okay, let me see. No, that's not it either. What do I do with it? What? No. I thought that was it. Must be this one. Hi, Cinco. How you doing, baby? It's good to see ya. That's right, Eric. You gotta be the sassy, sarcastic, smart aleck in his place. You and Eternal both. Y'all definitely are good at that. I mean, I do have my Rebel deck over here, too. But let's see. Sebastian. I just want to see what Spirit wants to say to you, baby. Oh, well, I'm happy you did, baby. It's good to see you, Cinco. No, baby, not yet, but I'm going to try and get up to the pole hall next week. I might go this weekend, but I'm going to try and get up there next week. And the event is the second, I think it's the second Saturday in November. And then the Christmas one, that's for the Toys for Tots drive tournament. Oh, what was I told? That might even be the second Saturday. First or second Saturday of December. Something like that. So yeah, I'm going to see how my arm holds up on the pool table. It's time to find out. Between that and go up to the gun range, because I haven't been since a couple years before I had my surgery for my shoulder. So I want to go and practice firing my pistol, but also pull out my rifle too. I have a few free coupons. I mean, I don't know what you call them. They're just cards where I get free time at the shooting range to shoot the guns that I have purchased from the gun store. Dang. Heard them brakes squealing from that big rig out there. Oh, that's cool, Eric. Yeah, here they do a it's a pool tournament for the Toys for Tots Christmas drive. Like, your entry fee is an unwrapped toy. So as long as you bring an unwrapped toy, you get entered into the tournament. You get to play, and I know they have a cash purse. I don't remember what it is. It's not a huge one, but it might be like 500 or $1,000 or something like that for first place. So it's always exciting though, because a lot of people do bring toys that aren't even playing just to donate for the cause, which is awesome. And some bring multiple toys. All right, Sebastian. Let's see, Spirit. Can I get a few cards for Sebastian, please? What does Sebastian need to hear right now? For his highest good. It is, Eric. I really enjoy it. I missed not being able to be a part of it the last few years. So I'm looking forward to it this year. Let's see. Spirit. What messages do you have for Sebastian? Those. Well, baby, what are you regretting? Spirit showing me like you've been really thinking of past memories, past people. This could be like an ex, or this can be even friends and family. I even get the energy like maybe you've heard some music recently that could have stirred up some of these memories. I feel like Spirit wants to remind you that these people from your past, baby, they're in your past for a reason. It doesn't mean that you can't still enjoy those memories and think of them from time to time to remind you of that time in your life. But Spirit's saying to you, it's time to leave it back there in the past. Don't bring it forward with you because it may do nothing but drag you down. Because you might find yourself getting caught up, wrapped up in that stuck energy, stagnant energy, where you can't break free from it. You might even find yourself getting, a little sad or depressed, thinking of someone or wishing something was different than what it has been or what it could have been. So, the other one that came out is the Target. And this is like showing me that I feel like there's been some distractions, and these distractions are kind of making you confused, overthinking things to where you're not able to focus clearly on your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Again, I feel like some of this kind of goes into this, thinking of something else that could have, happened, or, thinking of what could have been instead of, looking at what it is and taking it for what, Spirit has it showing itself to you, to not again get caught up, because getting caught up in these memories again can pull you down and distract you from what you should be focusing on, whether that's building a new relationship with someone, whether that's friends or family or professionally, even if you're working on a strange relationship with a family member, or this could be you taking your eye off the ball when it comes to your career, what you're going after, or even the way you're handling your finances, or even like something else in the future that you want to do, like take a trip. And right now, okay, say 2 years from now, I want to be able to travel to, we'll just say Tokyo for an example. And so you understand, you do the research, what's the cost to purchase a plane ticket, what's the cost of hotel stay, and you gotta now fit that into your budget and save that money. Um, I know sometimes, I'm not saying this is true for you, baby, but I know sometimes when we get caught up overthinking, past, whether they're good memories or not good memories, it can, sometimes get over us. It can overwhelm us to where we find other ways of having to process and come to terms with those things that didn't turn out the way we had hoped, the way we had dreamed, which causes some hurt, right? So we might find a different avenue then to try and um, escape it or to mask that type of pain, to help us forget. So just be mindful of that too, baby. My short posted, finally. Oh, thank goodness. I'll have to, see about the other one, if it's posted yet. Oh, Spirit, can I get one more card? And then for kicks and giggles, Sebastian, I'll pull you a erotic card just to see what it says. Well, this is interesting. Sebastian, I feel like, you know, Spirit's trying to direct you to a new beginning, a new start. Something that's coming towards you in the future that's going to be worth celebrating. But again, they need you to kind of like get out of your own way here. You know, let go of this. So you can have that new life, that new beginning, that new start again. Where everything starts to flow right. And you come into alignment with where you're meant to be and who you're meant to be. And also the people you're meant to be around. Friends, family, romantic, professionally. All those areas, baby. Alright. Sebastian, you're gonna be my first victim, baby. Spirit. What is a card that Sebastian needs to hear from this deck, please? And thank you. What kind of freak are you, Sebastian? Spirit. Ooh, that card wanted to jump out. Well, that's not a bad one. Spirit wants you to focus on self-love, baby. So, you know, I get the energy, baby. Even though this says it in a sexual context. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if I can show you this. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you that, baby. But it says self-love. And so think of how you can show yourself self-love, we'll say, but in a sexual way. And Spirit's saying that you need to like focus on that alone time. You know, learn to love yourself again. Know that you're worthy of loving yourself again. And, you know, the right people who are going to love you, baby, they're going to step forward. It may not be the people who are currently in your life right now or the ones you may have had to recently let go of, but Spirit's bringing forward new people. But in the meantime, they want you to focus on loving yourself. Put yourself first. And when you start doing that, it's going to raise your vibration, your whole mindset, the way you look at life, and the world will change. And you'll grow from it, and you'll see, you know, anything is possible. And I feel like then that's when, you know, the rest of the people, like your soul tribe, will show up for you. And you'll be amazed, I feel, by it. And you'll find great happiness within yourself, baby. If you can do that. Yeah, I can't show y'all this picture. Even though she's covered, but it's still tempting on that edge. And that's what I got for you, baby. So my short posted. I wonder if the other one did. Let me see. Really quick. Huh. Well, I may have posted. Let me do something. I gotta change the setting. So the other one should be there too. Oops. Hold on. Like, why won't it let me? There. Okay. Hopefully it's there now. Hi, Andre. How you doing, baby? So they both finally posted. It only took what, like 7 hours, 7, 8 hours. Don't understand it. How you doing, baby? It's good to see you. And it sounds like a great event. Yeah, Eric, it is. I enjoy it. And it's just like the event I go to. The it's called Stuff the Truck event they do for Thanksgiving, where they take food donations for the community food bank. I do that as well because, you know, as y'all may remember me mentioning, my mama passed away on Thanksgiving Day, so I do that for her. Ooh, here comes the rain. Yes, Eric, they do. But then you gotta wait for it to, go through and upload, for them to receive it. So I think because I'm out here in the country, in the sticks, because I don't have actual Wi-Fi, I use my cellular. in order to stream. It takes a lot longer for it to upload. The longer the video is, the longer it takes to upload and then them to scan through it. Oh, thank you, baby. Yeah, I think it's a good way to honor her. It's it's my way of really showing that to her. Because I don't know, Eric, if you ever recall me mentioning, I think it was it was either 2016 or 2017. I was scheduled to have surgery. I was scheduled to have an 8.5 hour operation, in fact. And it was scheduled 12 days before Christmas. And so before I had, the surgery, it was even before Thanksgiving, I was at home. I was getting things ready in order, trying to get the house ready for the holidays because once I had surgery, it's like I didn't know how I was going to feel, if I was going to be up to decorating the house, wrapping gifts, or anything like that. So I was trying to get everything out of the way before I went underneath the knife. And one of the days when I was home before Thanksgiving, I was listening to the radio, and I overheard the radio host talking about they were hosting an event for the Thanksgiving holiday called Stuff the Truck, where they were going to take food donations to help families in need for the Thanksgiving holiday. And so they were asking people if they could buy something off the list they created, and bring it and drop it drop it off at their event. And so I wanted to really do something, because it just so happened it fell on the day my mama, passed away, her actual anniversary date of her death. But I didn't know how I was going to do that at the time because my surgery I was getting ready to have then, it wasn't being covered by insurance. So I had to take out a loan in order to have a surgery that was medically necessary for me to have. So I decided then that, like at first I felt, defeated. It's like, well, how can I do something to contribute, because I really felt that call to do that. But I didn't have the money to do it either. So I sat there for a few minutes and then a light bulb hit me. I thought of my jewelry box, the jewelry box my parents gave to me when they were still alive. And inside of it was all the jewelry my parents ever gave to me when I was growing up. So a lot of it, it was all in at least 14 karat gold, but some of it had diamonds and precious stones too. So I was not using that jewelry, I wasn't wearing it. Um, and I just felt like it could be better served selling it to help feed, families in need for the Thanksgiving holiday. So I took it to my jeweler, asked him if he would buy it for me so I can, get the money so I could buy however much food I can buy with that money. And so thankfully, they agreed to do that. And I went through and printed out the whole list, grocery list of what they were requesting. I bought everything off that list times 21. So I was able to donate 21 complete meals for that Thanksgiving holiday that year to honor her memory. And, I was very thankful to be able to do that year. So ever since then, I've made it a tradition that I go down there at least and buy one meal. The turkey, the stuffing, the potatoes, the cranberry sauce, everything. Green beans, all of that. And do it just for her. So, hi, Michael. I'm Gravy. Thank you for asking. How you doing? So, this year, I believe the event is actually on the anniversary date of her death. It'll be that Saturday. So I definitely am gonna have to go down there again and do that. Hi, Crystal. How you doing? So I do that, and then I also honor my dad, who also died in November. Not my stepdad, not the one that taught me pool. My real dad. He died the 2nd of November, and he was also a military veteran, which I didn't find out till after he passed away. So I also would go through and donate some money to some of the organizations that help military vets, um, like some of um, the hospital things. Like, there's one of the organizations, and I can't remember the name of it now, where I think they have like arts and crafts of some kind, and it's part of the therapy to help military vets who have, gone to war, to help them with their PTSD and things like that. So I do that to honor his memory, because since he's also gone. No. Well, thank you, Crystal. Yeah, my parents passed away. It's been 14 years since my daddy, which is my stepfather. It's been, ooh, make me think now. 19 years since my real father passed away. And then this Thanksgiving will be 25 years. My mom has been gone. So I ended up losing all my parents young. Very young. Hey, where did that bug come from? So, ooh, it's 3 o'clock. No, I'll probably hang around for a few more minutes, and then I'll probably go, y'all. But yeah, so I'm getting excited about it. I the bowling, they used to do a lot of fundraiser tournaments like that too, but I haven't heard of any. And because I haven't actually been in, the bowling scene in quite some years, um, I don't know of anyone who I used to bowl with that could let me know about any of those tournaments. Like, the last I heard, they do have a tournament like once a month at one of the bowling alleys that I bowled with my brother. But it's a regular like tournament. It's not like a fundraiser tournament. Um, but I don't even remember what they usually have it. At least back then they had it on Friday night. But I can't remember if it's like the first Friday of the month or the last Friday of the month. It's something like that. So, no, I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, I can relate to it. I'm glad you still have your mama, Crystal. Enjoy, her being here, because it's like, I'm sure you could probably understand, once they're gone, there's no going back. And I know for me, there's a lot of things that I wish I could have done. Um, Regrets, yeah, even guilt. Um, I think, and to some extent, even the type of relationship I had with them, like I would have changed some things. So, but I'm sorry about your dad. I know it hurts, honey. Yes, JK, my mama was a big night owl. She was always up late at night. I think a lot of it came from even my grandmother. Her mom was also a night owl. And I think the other part of it too was because my mama was a competitive bowler. So her and my dad would be at the bowling alley 2, 3 nights a week in bowling leagues and tournaments, which would go on pretty late. Um, so I think that was part of it too. But yeah, I had to stay up late with her when I was taking care of her. Sometimes she would be up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning before she would actually lay down and go to sleep. I mean, or she would be laying in bed in the dark just watching TV, but she would still be awake until before the sun came up. How long ago did your dad pass away, Crystal? I got that song playing in my head still. What the heck? Like, I'm picking up on some lovebird energy. Someone's like crazy in love with someone. I don't know who it is. But like, I was over here earlier, this evening. I was looking through a brand new deck that, I mean, I've had it maybe a few weeks, I'll say. Maybe less than that. But I hadn't picked it up yet as far as like look through it and um, cleanse it and to kind of, put my energy into it until earlier tonight. And so when I was looking at a couple of the cards that popped out, um, as soon as these cards turned over, I had a song that started playing in my head right away. And I know the song, but it has no emotional meaning for me to like someone because it's a love song. Um, so it's like, okay, Spirit wanted me to do a love reading for someone. So I did it, hoping that this song would stop playing over and over and over in my head. It's still there playing on repeat. And it's driving me batty crazy now. So, I don't know if anyone knows country songs or artists, but it's a country song. It's by a guy, I think his name is Brett Young, and it's called In Case You Didn't Know. So I don't know if that song has any special meaning to someone, but if it does, then you'll probably be curious about um, the general reading I did that I posted. And that was the title I put on that reading. Um, it's a beautiful love reading because that song's a beautiful song, but I don't know why. This song won't leave me alone though. It's driving me crazy. Can't get it to stop playing in my head. Can't figure out why either. Oh, and Eternal. I meant to tell you, I got a goth deck coming too. It's like a love theme goth deck. When I saw it, it made me think of you. And I know some of my other subscribers are goth too, so. She's just wicked looking. You'll like that. Oh, I have no doubt you'll probably like it. You'll probably resonate with it more. For some of y'all that, you know, art can resonate more with some of the darker images like that. I figured it'd help. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure I won't have any problem connecting to it. It's just some of the images I struggled at first, but I only got to see a couple of the cards. Obviously, I didn't get to see the whole entire deck, but I'm sure if once I get it in my hand and let spirit come through, I'll be able to connect to it. But it's just like some of the pictures has like, or I should say one of the images has like a woman, and it's like, it looks like she's throwing up blood, like she has blood all over her face. And it's like, I looked at a picture and it's like, I'm trying to make sense of that. I can't remember what the card said. But it's like, okay, if you're like heartbroken maybe, or I don't know, unless you're like a vampire, like, you know, trying to, you know, bring down, you know, be like an energy vampire, we'll say. I don't know. It'll be interesting though. So. Quarter after 3. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting deck to explore. Oh, where did that card go? Make sure this didn't stick to each other. got Medusa. Oh, my apologies for any of y'all who don't like snakes. Look, isn't that a beautiful card? These cards are pretty bright. I love them. I like bright colors that are vibrant for the right type of readings. Oh, here you go, Eternal. We got a dragon for you, too. Yeah, they really are. There's some beautiful, bright colors in this one. It does have that vibrancy to it. I wasn't, I mean, well, I was gonna get this deck no matter what, but I wasn't sure as far as like in what aspect I would use it in. This kind of looks like a Dragon 2 Eternal, but I'm sure you can tell it's not. Ouch. Oh, I gotta stay up for a minute. It sounds like I just got like a quick pour down of rain, and now it already stopped. Ouch. My back's gonna let me stay here much longer. Probably should just go ahead and go. Since it's quiet and my back's starting to scream at me, y'all. I can't see it here. You may have to lay down for a bit. Maybe I'll come back later. I don't know. But if not, that short finally posted and that love reading posted too. So maybe it'll resonate for y'all. So be sure to check it out. And if I don't come back later, I don't know when I'll be back, y'all. Again, I'm not coming on here regularly. It's going to be when Spirit calls me out here. But I will be around, though. And if you need anything from me, y'all can get all that info in the description box. And I have my Patreon membership page up, too. There's where I've been posting all the daily general collective readings. So if you're curious or interested, y'all can find me there too. Until then, beautiful people, I'm wishing y'all nothing but love and light. Until next time, good night.